Hollywood is a place of glamour, fame, and fortune, but sometimes, it hides dark and tragic stories. In this video, we take a deep dive into the shocking murders of actors and celebrities whose lives were cut short in violent and mysterious ways. From rising stars to legendary figures, their stories remain haunting reminders of how fame can sometimes come with a terrible price. Phil Hartman was one of the most beloved comedic actors of his time. From his unforgettable impressions on Saturday Night Live to his iconic voice roles in The Simpsons and his standout performance in news radio, he had a rare ability to bring characters to life. But behind his success, his personal life was far more complicated than anyone realized. In a shocking and heartbreaking turn of events, his life was tragically cut short. It was the early hours of May 28, 1998, when the unthinkable happened. Inside their Los Angeles home, a heated argument had erupted between Phil and his wife, Bryn Hartman. Their relationship had been turbulent for years, with tensions growing due to personal struggles Bryn was facing. That night, after a confrontation, Phil decided to go to bed, hoping things would calm down. But while he was asleep, tragedy struck. At around 3 a.m., Bryn entered their bedroom and, in a moment of unimaginable despair, took his life. Afterward, Bryn, seemingly in shock, left the house and went to see a close friend, telling him fragments of what had just happened. At first, he couldn't believe it. But when they returned to the house, the devastating truth became clear. The police were called immediately. By the time they arrived, Bryn had made a tragic decision of her own, ending her life in the same house where just hours before, they had been together. The news sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Friends, colleagues, and fans were left devastated. Phil Hartman was more than just a comedian, he was a once-in-a-generation talent who had the ability to make millions laugh. His loss was immeasurable. Christy was a talented chef and TV personality who captured hearts with her passion for cooking. She gained national attention as a contestant on Food Network Star, where her vibrant energy and culinary skills made her stand out. But beyond the kitchen, she was also a stunt woman and had dreams of making a mark in Hollywood. Just as her life and career were reaching new heights, an unthinkable tragedy struck, cutting her journey short in one of the most heartbreaking ways imaginable. In March 2015, Christy and her husband, Joseph J.T. Codd, were excitedly preparing for the next chapter of their lives. Christy was pregnant, and the couple was eagerly looking forward to welcoming their baby. They had built a peaceful life together, but their happiness was tragically stolen. The couple hired a man named Robert Jason Owens for a home improvement project, not realizing the danger that awaited them. One fateful day, Owens carried out a horrific act, taking both Christy and JT's lives in their own home. As if that weren't horrifying enough, Owens attempted to hide the crime in a deeply disturbing way. When the authorities investigated, they uncovered chilling details that left the entire community in shock. Carl Switzer was once one of Hollywood's most recognizable child actors. Best known for his role as Alfalfa in the classic Our Gang, also known as the Little Rascals, he became a household name with his signature cowlick, mischievous grin, and off-key singing. His portrayal of the lovable troublemaker made audiences laugh for generations. But like many child stars, Carl struggled to transition into adulthood in Hollywood. As opportunities faded, his life took a difficult turn, one that ultimately led to a tragic and violent end. By the time Carl Switzer reached adulthood, his acting career had all but disappeared. He struggled to find roles and eventually turned to working as a dog trainer and hunting guide to make ends meet. He had financial troubles, and his life was far from the Hollywood glamour he once knew. On the night of January 21, 1959, Carl found himself in a heated dispute over a debt. He had allegedly loaned a man named Moses Bud Stiltz money for a hunting dog, and when it was never repaid, Carl confronted him at his home. The argument quickly escalated. According to reports, Carl and Bud began shouting, and at one point, Carl allegedly brandished a knife. In response, Bud grabbed a gun and, in a moment of panic, fired. Carl Switzer was shot and fatally wounded. He was only 31 years old. Carl Switzer's life was a tale of early fame, lost opportunities, and a tragic ending. Though he left this world too soon, his portrayal of Alfalfa remains one of the most cherished performances in classic Hollywood history. Susan Cabot was a rising Hollywood actress in the 1950s, best known for her roles in films like The Wasp Woman and Sorority Girl. With her striking looks and undeniable talent, she quickly became a recognizable name in the entertainment industry. But despite her on-screen success, Susan's personal life was far from glamorous. Her story took a dark turn, leading to a shocking and tragic ending that left Hollywood stunned. After her Hollywood career began to fade in the 1960s, Susan withdrew from the public eye. She lived a more private life, raising her only son, Timothy Scott Roman. But behind closed doors, her life was filled with struggles, and things only got worse as time passed. On the night of December 10, 1986, a horrifying crime took place inside Susan's Los Angeles home. She was found brutally murdered, beaten to death with a dumbbell. The person responsible? Her own son, Timothy. The investigation revealed shocking details about their troubled relationship. Timothy, who had suffered from psychological issues, later claimed that the attack happened during a heated argument, and he had no memory of the violent act. Susan Cabot's life was filled with both dazzling highs and devastating lows. From Hollywood fame to a tragic and violent end, her story is one of mystery, heartbreak, and tragedy. Josh Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, better known as XXXTentacion, was one of the most influential and controversial artists of his generation. His music, which blended raw emotion with deep lyricism, resonated with millions of fans worldwide. From hard-hitting rap tracks to soul-bearing ballads, X had a unique ability to connect with listeners on a deeply personal level. But just as his career was reaching new heights, tragedy struck. In a shocking and heartbreaking moment, XXXTentacion's life was cut short in an act of senseless violence. On June 18, 2018, XXXTentacion was in Deerfield Beach, Florida, visiting a motorcycle dealership. As he was leaving the store and getting into his car, two armed men approached him in an apparent robbery attempt. A struggle ensued, and within seconds, gunshots rang out. X was shot multiple times at close range. The assailants quickly fled the scene, leaving the young rapper critically wounded. Witnesses rushed to help, but by the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. XXXTentacion was pronounced dead at the age of just 20. The news of his murder sent shockwaves through the music industry and devastated his millions of fans. Karen Kupcinet was a young and promising actress in the early 1960s, appearing in TV shows like Perry Mason and The Donna Reed Show. With her talent and Hollywood connections, being the daughter of renowned columnist Irv Kupcinet, her future seemed bright. But behind the glamorous lights of Hollywood, Karen's life was troubled. And in November 1963, at just 22 years old, she was found dead under circumstances that remain one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. On the night of November 28, 1963, Karen Kupcinet's lifeless body was discovered in her West Hollywood apartment. She had been strangled. Investigators were baffled. There were no clear signs of forced entry, and while some friends reported that Karen had been struggling with emotional distress, there was no immediate explanation for her murder. Speculation ran wild. Some believed it was linked to personal struggles, while others suggested connections to Hollywood elites. One of the most bizarre theories claimed that she had overheard information related to the JFK assassination, which had happened just 6 days earlier. Yet, despite countless theories, no one was ever charged in connection with Karen's death. Her case remains officially unsolved.